That fantasy book does not have a matriarchy of warrior women. It has a violent patriarchy run by women. Books with a matriarchy of warrior women get pitched to me fairly regularly. While I do love me a warrior princess, that particular phrasing, a matriarchy of warrior women, is a pet peeve. People don't seem to understand that war is a patriarchal trait. We have lots of historical examples of women who were able to fulfill various military roles very effectively. But in pretty much every example you can think of, Boudica, Nzinga, Artemisia II, the Trung sisters, Tomiris, Kudalin, Milonkosavich, did so within a patriarchal context. This is also true for historic female fighter groups like the Agogi and the Scythian warrior women. We know that men held power by default in all of the times and places where these women lived. When women hold power by default, they tend to prioritize the welfare of the community and the welfare of children, even if they don't have or want children themselves, over martial prowess, imperial expansion, colonization, and accumulation of resources. That is what anthropologists keep finding. Patriarchy is believed to have originated with agriculture. So with the exception of a very, very small minority of hunter-gatherer populations that still exist, we are all living in some kind of patriarchy. If writers want to write about warrior women, if readers want to read about warrior women, that's perfectly fine. I have written lots of them too, and I do plan to write my own take on the Amazons eventually. But whenever I write about warrior women, I also heavily emphasize patriarchy because I understand that patriarchy and war are inseparable. And I want to be honest about that. I never want to idealize war or sanitize that truth. If you see violence as empowering, either you are in a patriarchy or you are acting in response to a larger patriarchal majority. Think of any culture, civilization, or society famed for their warfare, and I promise you they were a patriarchy.
But Elizabeth, you're limiting women to support roles.
Here's a better question. Why do we call them support roles? We have data to show that every time women go into a previously male-dominated profession, the pay and prestige of that profession goes down. Whereas when men take over a previously female-dominated field, the pay and prestige go up. These people arguing that women can be colonizers too are very much missing the point. Like, sure, there are women who can be and have been horrible people. We support equal opportunity evil here. Men commit over 80% of violent crimes, but many of them are very gentle and caring and even pacifist. If you have a warrior culture that idealizes violence, that culture is naturally going to favor able-bodied adult males over everyone else. It is always the weakest and most vulnerable people who suffer in war. Americans especially love to forget that because we haven't had a domestic war in living memory. Unless we have immigrants in our families, we don't usually grow up hearing grandma talk about what it's like to be 10 years old and have a whole bunch of napalm and the sun dropped on your country twice. With the exception of the 1% of our population we exploit to actually fight our wars. War to the American mind is a game we play over there, and we can get away from it at any time by just putting down our phones. In reality, war is a complicated and unfortunate practice where, except for a few of the brass, everybody involved is an innocent bystander. Is war sometimes necessary? I don't know. It's a question I have been asking philosophers, theologians, and veterans for a very long time. I am certainly not going to knock anyone trying to defend themselves, but the more I learn, the more I have this unfettered loathing for any kind of media that tries to display the glory of war without talking about the cost. And these fantasy books with matriarchies of warrior women are doing exactly that and dressing it up as women's empowerment. War is a topic I explore in my writing because I have so many questions about it. But one thing I don't question is that it is awful. We should not confuse participation in war with matriarchy, and certainly not with feminism.